without further ado, welcome. Thank you for joining us online. We don't do this commonly, but we can do this for Sharespost, no worries. Can you, for the audience, can you please briefly share who is Sharespost and what do you guys do?
Sure. Sharespost is we are a platform for trading private shares. We've been around for about 10 years, and we focus on primarily unicorn stock historically, which trades OTC at the moment. So that's going to be your Uber, Airbnb, SpaceX, Palantir, DD, Ant Financial, etc. There's about 150 different issuances on the platform. We're a regulated entity, so we have a digital ATS and a self-clearing broker-dealer, and we are moving very strongly into developing the security token ecosystem. I think it's very clear to us that this is the future of the private shares market and also the future of crypto. I think that at least in the States, I think the position is that as someone said previously, everything that was issued already was a security, and this is at least taking advantage of blockchain technology to create a much more liquid market. So right now it trades OTC. We're moving more towards order books, where you have small spreads, thick books, high volumes, and lower fees. Additionally, you have interoperability between the exchanges that creates a global marketplace, and we expect to see a liquidity premium for that. So,
great.
That's
Thank you. I think a lot of people in this audience are also curious about the differences. There's Sharespost, Open Finance. Could you please kindly share with the audience, how is Sharespost different from the other exchanges?
Right. So I think that Sharespost differs structurally from Open Finance quite significantly, insofar as that we do custody because we're a self-clearing broker-dealer, so we can custody cash and assets, and Open Finance is more geared towards using a crypto wallet. So for like a MetaMask wallet or whatever to fund your account. We made this choice. I think it was really a strategic move because we felt like that's something that institutional investors would be more comfortable with. So I think that if I think there's a lot of people, crypto are quite ideological, and they sort of feel that the Bitcoin equal should carry over to everything that exists on a cryptographic ledger, where it's permissionless and transparent and immutable and so forth. But that's not necessarily the best way to operate a private market. I'd say with T0, I believe that they're moving more towards like a national exchange model and probably more focused on retail than we are. We always have been and plan to continue being a platform for accredited investors.
Thank you, Greg. And I guess a lot of people would also be curious about, what are the requirements to be listed on Sharespost?
Right. Okay. That's a really good question because I think there's a lot of misconceptions around, what is called STO is, the issuance for digital security. And so fundamentally for us, it's currently using a Reg D or Reg S exemption under Clause 506C. So that applies to the U.S. We're also getting licensing in a number of international jurisdictions that will be announced in not too long, I assume. And so doing an equivalent sort of fundraising process in those jurisdictions will also allow you entry to our ATS. However, it's not. A lot of people believe that an STO is kind of like a gussied up version of an ICO, where you can kind of do this with free money, where you just sort of a white paper and a dream, and you're just sort of raising money to fund whatever project may or may not happen. That's not the case with Sharespost and with STOs. The market won't operate that way. It generally tends to be more like late stage Series A or Series B companies. That said, we are restructuring the private shares market to not necessarily be exclusive to large enterprises like unicorns. We expect that we'll start listing much earlier stage companies and smaller companies.
Excellent, thank you. And we just have a few more questions until we have our networking session. But could you also share with us right now at Sharespost, how many accredited investors are on your platform right now?
We have about 170, about 65,000 of which are accredited. And that primarily is, second tier venture capitalists, hedge funds, family offices. So on the buy side, a lot of people who want exposure to private shares, and on the sell side, you have companies, founders, employees who have received stock. Additionally, various funds want to get in or out of positions for a number of reasons.
Got it, thank you. I just want to double check, can everyone hear Greg clearly, or is it a bit tough to hear? It's okay, so? Okay, sorry about that. But we're almost done here. But Greg, we just also want to know how many, what would you say are the biggest challenges or obstacles to the growth of STOs?
Right, so I think really, I'd say there's a lot of hard technical problems, and we have a great blockchain team that works on that. But I'd say that the most difficult problems are around legal issues and also getting the type of issuances that are interesting to the market. We have a very long-term view of this, so people will ask, what STOs are out there. And for us, it's an important question because we're building this ecosystem, but we have a pretty long horizon for this. And so, we expect, maybe, 20 to 50 new issuances this year. I think that's probably a conservative estimate. So getting issuances that are interesting, that appeal to the market, and the education process of kind of leading founders and CEOs through the process of doing an STO is that is a challenge. Liquidity is another issue. It's not going to be like this HFT experience you see in crypto with order books that are sort of electrified with bots trading all over the place. I think that we expect it to be a bit slower pace than that. But compared to because it's not a bearer asset, so you have to put it through a transference process. Currently, that process is quite protracted. Talking something like 30 to 90 days to do the settlement and clearing on a trade, getting the transfer restrictions removed, getting the ROFR approved with the private company. It's a right of first refusal that applies to a lot of private companies. We expect to have, get the transference down to as short a time, as close to real time as possible. Starting from like 30 to 90 days to somewhere near real time. And also reducing some of the contractual issues around transference to speed it up. Additionally, with certain it's kind of choosing the right type of issuance as well. So not every type of business structure is really suited for rapid trading or being held by a large number of people because of the transfer restrictions in the cap table. So I think this is an issue that we've had to work through and decide, really what's the best type of business structure that allows quick movement between different persons, where you can have a lot of holders inside the company and you can transfer it quite quickly. So for this, funds tend not to be great. That's generally limited to 99 holders and is look through. Whereas a C Corp, you can hold it in street names. So then we can have an omnibus account that allows, say, really an unlimited number of people who can trade through our broker dealer. So this is the type of issues that we work very hard on to solve, and work very closely with the SEC and FINRA to keep it all compliant and make the market happen.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Greg. And before we go into our networking session, we do have one last question. So what do you see as the opportunities for Sharespost?
Right. So I think that anytime you have technical disruption and restructure a market, there's a huge amount of opportunity. Sharespost offers both primary and secondary. So we do distribution and help companies raise money directly on our platform. And we offer the secondary trading where people can buy and sell the shares. Additionally, we have a platform known as Glass, the Glass network, which is an order book pooling and compliance network between exchanges. Essentially, in short, it allows different exchanges to piggyback on the licenses of compliant exchanges that can settle and clear the trade through local regulators. And this allows cross-border trading, and the idea is to create sort of a global marketplace for this, where you in Hong Kong, the credit investors in Hong Kong can trade directly with investors all over the world through the network.
Got it. Thank you, Greg. So that wraps up our discussion. Greg, you want to just take one question from the audience? Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So let me just pass the mic. And after that, we'll have a networking session. We do have a closing remarks as well. So.
Hi, Dennis O'Neill from Chicago. I'm a little bit confused about how the STO market's actually working right now, because there seems to be so little guidance and regulation coming out of the SEC, but then from securities and other people that we've heard from tonight, they're utilizing these traditional private equity or private sales regulations to raise money and then actually take these companies onto publicly traded STO exchanges. So it's has there been a change that I haven't noticed, or that I don't understand, of how that you're utilizing these Reg D and other traditional private equity vehicles to fund companies and actually have them approved as STOs and trading on STO exchanges?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Connection is not great at the moment. If you can, in a few words, just summarize your question.
Traditionally, Reg D and other types of vehicles have been for private raises for private companies. And then now it seems to be that these regulations are being utilized to approve STOs to raise money and trade on security token exchanges. And I'm not sure how that's happening, because I haven't heard anything out of the SEC that approves security token offerings in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the regulation has been non-existent.
Okay. Did you get that, Greg?
So as I said before, we trade private shares. So the Reg D, Reg S exemptions, those are the ones that we work with at the moment. Those are fine for us. However, we do work very closely hand in hand with the regulators. We're very much pro-regulation. I think it's a huge benefit, and it's really the part of the market that will survive long term. This sort of nonsense of doing an ICO with a white paper and a dream, issuing a bearer asset that offers the shareholder no rights whatsoever except to use a platform that may or may not exist, is not something that is ever going to draw institutional money. So people, for everyone holding their breath for institutional money to enter the crypto space, it's not going to happen under other circumstances, other than within a regulated framework. And Reg D and Reg S work well for us for now, but we are looking at other, we are looking at other frameworks and other types of company structures that also could perhaps fulfill the purpose even better.
Thank you, Greg. So thank you for dialing in. Thank you everyone for understanding. We wanted him to fly in, but we had some changes. So thank you for bearing with us. Thank you, Greg. So goodbye. Talk to you again soon. So what?